So I'm going to try to keep this video as short as I can. I don't really have a script or anything for this, just kind of going off the top of my head. But I kind of just wanted to share what Eddie Van Halen meant to me and perhaps give another perspective because unlike some older people, I have not had the pleasure of growing up listening to Van Halen on the radio, or even I never even got to see Van Halen live. But I think I have a unique perspective to share, and maybe perhaps to pass on some hope that his legacy won't die out. So it's been 2 days since Eddie passed, and actually, man, I did not expect his passing to hit me as hard as it did, but I was kind of crying throughout the day, off and on. Pretty much whenever I would go on Instagram, I'd see photos of him and I would start tearing up. The first thing I did when I heard of the news was I went and watched that Eruption solo, the live one on YouTube. I would actually watch that video every day when I came home from high school. But before I get into that, the first time I heard of Van Halen was actually from playing a video game. Their song Panama was in the opening sequence for Gran Turismo 4 on the PlayStation 2. I don't know if anyone else had this same experience, but when I was a kid, I was probably like 10, or maybe even younger. I was playing that game. I loved racing games, and I would always skip the intro because it was this like boring, long opera sequence that was like, I watched it again the other day and it was like 1:30 long, and you know, when you're a little kid, you're like, I don't want to listen to this boring like music. I want to race the cars, and so I would always skip it. But one day I decided, you know what? Let me just listen to this. And little did I know, after 1:30 of listening to that, the opera section finally ends, and the first thing I hear when that opera section ends is Panama. And that Van Halen's Panama was in that intro sequence to that video game. And man, the first time I heard that, I was like, whoa, what is this song? I didn't know who it was, and for a long time after that I didn't know who it was, but I knew I liked that song, and ever since then I would always listen to the intro whenever I started up that game. And it wasn't until very, very, very later on, when I was in high school, when I actually started getting into playing guitar and learning, that I went back and I somehow discovered Van Halen. And I remember the first time hearing Eddie play was just on some YouTube video of him playing Eruption live, and I thought his playing style was so unique, so interesting, like never something I never heard before. And it took me a while, but I really got into playing, or I really got into Eddie Van Halen's playing. And I was actually, later on in high school, I was in a rock band, a high school rock band, and man, when I was playing in that band, all I wanted to be was like Eddie Van Halen. I bought the Eddie Van Halen guitar, the Wolfgang Standard. Every night I would come home and listen to that same Eruption solo, the one on YouTube. And yeah, like I listened to him so much, and he was such a big impact. And when that high school band I was in, it was called Scarlet Cord, when we recorded our first album, and I listened back, man, I can hear how heavily influenced I was by Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, I mean, till this day, he's still one of my top favorite guitarists of all time. And in my opinion, for me, he's the greatest of all time. And that's not a dig on Jimi Hendrix, because of course without Jimi we wouldn't have Eddie, but for me personally, just personally, I never really connected with Jimi Hendrix all that much, but I really did connect with Eddie's playing. This is already getting a little bit longer than I thought, but I just want to end this video with this. A couple of years ago, I was working at an after-school care job, and I specifically remember one day, at the end of the day, when all the parents were picking up their kids from after-school care, I saw this one boy. He was probably in like 6th grade. I don't know how old you are in 6th grade, but I remember I saw him, and he had an EVH striped series guitar, and he was playing it. And I went over to him. I said, "Oh, nice, like nice guitar." I was like, "Do you have guitar lessons after this?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to guitar lessons after." And I was talking with him for a little bit, and I said, "So who's your favorite guitarist?" And he said, "Eddie Van Halen." And man, me hearing that made me so happy, because I thought, I genuinely thought a couple years ago that guitar was, dying out. I thought it was going to be like an antique instrument or something like that. Like, I didn't see too many people learning to play guitar, but that kid was learning how to play guitar, and his favorite guitarist is Eddie Van Halen. So this video is already getting way longer than I hoped it would be. Hopefully I can edit it down, but just wanted to share some of my thoughts and leave you guys with that last story. Yeah, his legacy is going to live on forever. People will still be listening to Eddie Van Halen long into the future. And yeah, he will dearly be missed. Yep. Thank you, Eddie.